Fellow traders and investors, Cecil Robles here, and welcome to this week's market preview. We're going to be looking at the dollar Canadian dollar today. We actually in the Signals Club, we had a really good week this week with the dollar Canadian dollar on a buy signal. You can see that it's been in this swing type of a market for quite some time, even if I back it out here, since we kind of hit these lows back in May, at the beginning of May. You can see that it's just kind of been bouncing in between these two support and resistance levels, support being down here, resistance being up here. It's actually been making higher highs and lower high, or rather higher lows and higher highs here. So the tendency of the market is to be moving up, and we've had some pretty strong up moves last week. Was a nice strong up move here, which we capitalized on with a entry right about here and a take profit right up here at the top of this particular market at around 31.90. So what is this week looking at? Well, I mean, based on what we're seeing here, we've got price coming into the 200-day moving average. Where I've drawn this red line on the chart, you can see the level of resistance that we have at that point. Here's the previous high point of the market. You can see that we have a number of different resistance points there in the market as identified by these fractal points here. And that's where the market has kind of been running out of steam, especially since we're coming right into this 200-day moving average. I'm not expecting this market to go up further above the 200-day moving average, although it could. What I'm expecting more than anything else, based on the patterns that I'm seeing right here, is a slight pullback. So probably a pullback down into the Ichimoku cloud. You can see, if I back this out, the cloud has turned up right here. So I'm going to look for a slight pullback down into this cloud and then another retest to see if price is going to break out above these highs here. From a fundamental standpoint, the dollar should be gaining strength against the Canadian dollar at this point. And that's just from a fundamental standpoint. So what I've drawn here on the screen, we've got a pretty much very close to a Gartley pattern. It's not 100% a Gartley pattern, but it's very, very close. You can see from the X to the A point, the A to the B is 79.2. It's really not supposed to go over 78.6. It's supposed to close below that 78.6. It didn't touch the, it's supposed to not touch the 78.6 rather. It just barely touched that. You can see it's at 79.2. Price dropped again here. You can see down to the C. And then for that particular formation, it's supposed to close above the 78.6, which it did. It closed above the 78.6. If I took this back up here to where it closed at, it did close above the 78.6 there. Dropped down to 87.2 roughly. And then you can see here the extension, the D level here is 129.4. So 127 is the fulfillment of that. Went a little bit above that. And so what are we looking at? Well, based on that, if we just take a fib and go from A to D here, okay, we're looking at between a 382 and a 618 pullback. So again, somewhere down into this particular level, and then we'll wait for a buying opportunity, and we will actually take that buying opportunity. Could you short this market on a breakdown below this level right here? So below the low of this particular candle is what I would do right here. You've got kind of a swing point right in there. The low of this candle, if you wanted to do that, but there's not really a whole lot of room for the market to run down here if we're assuming that it's going to come at the maximum down to this 618 level. So the reward to risk won't be that good. It'll be maybe a 1.1 or 1.2 or 1-to-1 maybe even, because you're going to have to set your stop loss above the high of X over there. So here's X. You have to set the stop loss above the high of X. So maybe around, if the high of X is 132.54, you'd be looking at 132.74, let's say, would be your stop loss. So you're going to have to set the stop loss up here. Again, targeting back down into here with a breakdown below here. Maybe not the smartest move. You could go down to the 4-hour chart and look for some better entry opportunities to try to capture that on a little small swing trade. But the thing that I'm most interested in is not taking a breakout above this X point. I don't think that's smart yet. What I think is the best opportunity is waiting for the market to have a slight pullback and then looking for another buying opportunity, because, again, it looks like the pressure in this particular market is to the buy side. So that's the smart play to me. That's the less risky play. And again, it's always about protecting the capital first because opportunities are limitless. Remember that. So hopefully we'll see what happens this week, and maybe this trade will form for us, and make sure and keep your eye on it, the dollar Canadian dollar. If you're not part of the Forex Signals Club yet, where I break down every single currency that we're going to be looking at this week, as well as giving you the exact trading signals that we're taking, you might want to check that out. There's some details in the email that you received today. Other than that, have a great week, and we'll be back with you next week.